and Obama was making a name for himself in Chicago political circles. Obama took on 2 jobs. He taught at the elite University of Chicago Law School, and he practiced civil rights law at a small politically connected firm. One client was developer Tony Rezko, who owned tenements in the inner city. He would become Obama's friend and financial supporter, and down the road, a liability. But at the time, Rezko was politically well connected, and Obama was thinking about a career in politics. On October 18, 1992, Barack and Michelle were married by Reverend Jeremiah Wright, pastor of Trinity United Church, the same Reverend Wright whose controversial sermons would later threaten Obama's political career. Obama had become close to Wright. He credits Wright with bringing him to Christianity. Wright would also baptize the Obamas' 2 daughters, Sasha and Malia. When State Senator Alice Palmer tapped Obama to run for her seat, he jumped at the chance. State Senator Ricky Hendon was Palmer's friend.
Her and Barack had a discussion about him replacing her for the Senate when she went to Congress, so there was an agreement between them.
But then something unexpected happened.
She lost the race, then she decided that she wanted to come back.
She said, well, I'm going to run for re-election.
Palmer asked Obama to withdraw.
But he refused to step down.
There's no way Barack could have beat Alice Palmer in that seat. It just wasn't going to happen. Alice was extremely popular.
Obama played hardball. He challenged Palmer's right to be on the ballot.
He looked at her nominating petitions that she had to submit to the Board of Elections and could see that they were put together in a real hurry.
And the people who she depended on to do her petitions really did not do a good job.
The rules are there for a reason.
Will Burns was part of an Obama team that found a number of Palmer's signatures were not valid.
One of the first things you do whenever you're in the middle of a primary race or any race, especially in primaries in Chicago, you look at the signatures.
Successfully challenging her signatures, Obama knocked Alice Palmer, a revered political figure, off the ballot, as well as all 3 other candidates. While Obama's campaign today promotes him as a different kind of politician, back then he was an avid student of Chicago-style politics.
Morally, he had some complications with whether he should knock this woman out of the way.
David Mindell is a Chicago reporter who wrote Obama's biography.
In the end, what happened is we saw the first real example of Barack Obama's cutthroat nature when it came to advancing his own career in politics.
I love him, but he's wrong.
Obama's 1997 entree into the state Senate did not sit well with some legislators.
They looked at him with some suspicion as to who is a sort of outsider in our ranks.
Senate leaders assigned Dan Shulman to help Obama navigate the state capitol. He didn't want the job.
And my boss called me, the chief of staff, and he said, Dan, I need you to staff Obama. I said, I don't have time for Obama. I said, this guy wants to change the world in 5 seconds. I have a lot of other things to do.
But Obama won Shulman over, and Shulman sent Obama to meet party leader Emil Jones.
The first thing he said to me after this election, he said, you know, I like to work hard, and we know one another, so feel free to give me any tough assignments.
And he did, making Obama the point person on campaign finance and ethics reform. But the state legislature became too small a stage for Obama.
Being a state senator is not much better than being a city councilman. You don't get any television coverage in Chicago. You're nobody.
Restless after 3 years in the Senate, Obama took a risky step. He decided to run for Congress against four-term incumbent Bobby Rush. Rush had just lost a race to be mayor. To Obama, he looked vulnerable.
I have lost this election, but I want you to know that I don't consider myself a loser.
So Obama thought that he could probably knock him off.
But Rush was a neighborhood favorite.
Senator Barack, he represents a part of Inglewood,
His district has always been in Inglewood. What has he done?
Let's Congressman.
In the debate, Rush dominated the political rookie.
I don't think Congressman Rush in this situation should have a pass. I don't think the mayor should have a pass. I don't get a pass for my state Senate seat.
I certainly disagree with the Senator Obama. He did get a pass in his first effort out in terms of running for the Senate. He and others knocked his predecessor, Senator Alice Palmer, off the ballot.
The race got personal. Jones remembers what people said at the time.
He's not black enough, or he's from Harvard, he thinks he's better.
Obama got a political drubbing. Rush beat him nearly 2-1.
Losing that congressional race was the first time in his life that he experienced just utter failure at something that he had tried and pursued with vigor.
Obama was doing a lot of soul searching.
He thought that he was just such a charismatic figure and that he had a message that people would gravitate to and would embrace. And when they rejected him, that was a humbling experience for him. And he's not someone who had been humbled a whole lot in his life.
Mendel says he looked for another way onto the national political stage. His first move, try to network with leaders at the 2000 Democratic National Convention. But when he arrived, he did not have enough clout to get a floor pass. He left the convention early.
I think that, Senator Obama maybe underestimated or overestimated his abilities.
Friend and fellow legislator Terry Link says Obama had to learn that politics was as much about people as policy.
He had to get down into the race and talk to people in a different way.
The Reverend Jeremiah Wright, a mentor, told him the same thing.
Come on, Barack, you need to get into the real world here. You need to understand what politics is about, and it's a lot about frivolous things, and you have to engage people in that manner sometimes.
So Obama, learning from his defeat, plunged into the people side of politics.
And so he picked up playing golf and picked up playing poker and became one.
So I don't care how smart, how brilliant you are. If you don't have those relationships, you're not going to be successful.
Emil Jones was one of those relationships.
President Jones was the godfather, and he likes that role. He relishes that role.
In 2002, Democrats took over the state Senate. Jones, a former sewer inspector, was now the president of the Senate. Obama went to Jones with the proposal.
You have a lot of power. I said, tell me what kind of power I got, Brock. He said, you have the power to make a United States senator. I said, that sounds very interesting. I said, if I got that kind of power, tell me anyone you know of that I could make a United States senator. And he said, me.
He owes it all. He owes everything to President Jones. I never let Barack forget that. And we shouldn't let Barack forget that.
With help from on high, Obama got his name on hundreds of bills that he pushed through.
This is a nationwide problem. I think you're seeing.
A bill that monitored racial profiling by police. A law mandating that police interrogations be videotaped in murder cases.
But we have to start preparing for that now.
Tax rebates for the working poor. But there was also something else on his political resume.
All those in favor vote aye, opposed vote nay. The voting is open.
Obama had a high number of present votes. It's a technique many legislators used on politically sensitive issues to indicate they were present for a vote without committing for or against. Obama did it 129 times in his 8 years in the Senate. His critics charge he wouldn't commit on controversial votes.
Some people would also say that that's smart politics.
Good to see you. How are you?
In 2002, Obama started to test the waters for a Senate race.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Weighing into a national political debate.
I don't oppose war. What I do oppose is a dumb war.
He won influential supporters among Chicago's moneyed elite. But friends and family worried a loss would be politically devastating.
If you lose another race, so quickly, what's that going to do to your political career?